Okay, well, today we have to talk about the most fucking ridiculous movie I've ever seen, ever. And I've actually seen this movie before because for sure I saw it way back in 2001, long fucking time ago. Now, you may recall they've made all sorts of Planet of the Apes reboots, but this one is actually a unique reboot series. It's actually labeled as the remake. And interestingly enough, you have the original series way back in the 70s, and then you have the 2001 remake all on its own, and then you have the fairly successful reboot series, which is all CGI'd out and, very newish and honestly not overly terrible. But this one stands uniquely on its own as it never got a sequel and it never had any kind of lead ups to it, and kind of bombed at the critics awards, but didn't do overly bad in the box office. It stars old Marky Mark as a pilot in some type of future world who gets teleported to a back in time or forward in time to a ape world, and it deals with the time dilations and apes evolving and revolving, and it's a confusing story, of course, but I mean the main takeaway from this is that it is fucking hilariously weird. I mean, I remember seeing this when it came out in 2001. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theaters, but after years and years and years of not giving a flying fuck about this movie, coming back to it is hilarious. It's absolutely fucking funny. It's just the weirdest shit you'd ever seen. It's just the way the apes look, the way that they are sculpted in with real people in suits and makeup, and it just all looks so wrong and fucking out of place. It looks mega uncanny valley. Now that doesn't really necessarily mean it's a bad movie, especially a revisiting, a rewatching in today's world. It has plenty of 2000 early 2000s charm to it. It's a sci-fi type movie. It deals with some interesting concepts. Marky Mark is great in it as always, and he's just as lovable as a person as he can be. To think that this is actually in Mark Wahlberg's video catalog is fucking hilarious, especially the scenes when he goes over and is hanging out with the little real monkeys and holding them and petting them. It's just the Mark Wahlberg with a real fucking chimpanzee is just so weird. It's so hilariously weird to see this guy who kind of in many ways looks like a monkey himself, holding a monkey. So yeah, like I said, the movie starts off and he's in some type of space program, research facility. And I'm no word of a lie. This is actually something that happens in the beginning of the movie. They send this monkey out into space in a spaceship to go investigate some warp in the sky in the space, and then the monkey gets lost, and Mark Wahlberg goes against the direct orders and flies out to save the chimpanzee in the freaking space pod. And honestly, if that doesn't make you laugh, I don't know what will. It's fucking hilarious, this scene, and honestly, I cannot stop grinning at the thought of Mark Wahlberg blasting off into space against a direct order to save a monkey. So yeah, I mean, he gets pulled back into the space-time continuum, or pulled forward, I guess, and he turns into this, kind of medieval ape society. It starts off and he's getting, involved in a chase where they're rounding up feral humans like monkeys would be in human times. And it's the correlation between the apes or monkeys is freaking hilarious, but actually kind of interesting, to say the least. So I mean, it does have great ideas, but it's essentially this kind of just weird story that it throws you off because of how uncanny the monkeys look. It's almost disturbing at parts, to think that there were apes in this type of situation, and to see them like this, it's just deeply uncomfortable to see. And to make matters worse, Mark Wahlberg almost forms a relationship with one of these ape human type creatures. And this one woman ape ish, if you would call it that, they have pretty obvious features that makes them distinguishable as men and women. And one of them kind of seems to, you know, get a crush on Mark Wahlberg, which is very fucking weird and hilarious at the same time. Another hilarious correlation is that one of the gorilla apes is obviously played by Michael Clark Duncan, and the fact that you can actually tell that's him between the gorilla makeup and costume is just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I had to look, and one of the fucking monkeys is Paul Giamatti. And like I just had to do a double take. I was like, is that like there's no way. And like you look at it, and then like you can kind of tell these people are, the monkeys behind the suit. Tim Roth is one, the General Fade, and it's just so ridiculous. And you had to think about how much effort went into these ape suits or costumes, because it doesn't look like CGI. Obviously some of the later movies they're just straight CGI. Like the monkeys, the world, a lot of the world is just all CGI. But like this is mostly practical effects. And it's like the fact that they have these people running around in ape suits and ape costumes in this ape world is just so ridiculous. And it's like you cannot with Mark Wahlberg in this. It's just freaking hilarious. But old Marky Mark puts on an extravagant performance, and this is like one of his quote unquote breakout roles. He's kind of like a little bit young in this. This is a good 25, 24 years ago. So I mean, this is kind of at his beginning, 10 years of his acting career. So he looks really young, but you know what? It's almost like he hadn't. He's the same Mark Wahlberg that you know and love, and him chasing around monkeys and just like with a straight face on it's just too much to bear. The most absolutely hilarious scene in the movie is later on when a real chimpanzee gets blown up across the room in the end battle with Fade, and you just like to see a real chimpanzee get blasted like that across the room. I mean, obviously, I don't know if they use stump double or something, but it's such a ridiculous scene, and like Mark Wahlberg's love and admiration for real chimps in this is just so weird. And there's also a scene when he takes and he just like picks it up out of a spaceship and like holds on to it like his little like baby. And oh man, it's just so weird just seeing Mark Wahlberg interact with these real chimps in the acting sphere is so hilarious. So I don't know. I wouldn't call it a bad movie. It's a freaking great movie. It really is a great movie because it has a charm, it has funniness, it's interesting and unique. There's lots of artistic integrity here, but it's just like it's without a doubt a whacked weird ass adventure, and it's just like you cannot look away at these just bizarre apes. And it really falters in the third act because it's just like they're just getting chased and blown up and there's battles, and it's just like you just really lose interest after the first half. It's a unique movie, and it really has nothing to do with the newer ones. But there is a scene in it that is just truly bizarre. It's the end scene without spoilers. I mean, this 25-year-old movie, so sorry about the spoilers. You go watch it now if you want. But the big reveal at the end, and this is legitimately how the movie ends, is that Mark Wahlberg like goes back in time or whatever, and he thinks he's going back in time, and then he goes and he realizes he's in like a modern world, today's world, but with apes instead. And it's just such an off-putting scene. And they end the fucking movie at this part. It's the worst ending possible because it's like, and maybe they were trying to make a sequel and the sequel got shit canned. but I mean, critics hated this thing, and I cannot get over what a shitty end this was to this. Is that like literally it's just like this dystopian world he finds himself in, where instead of us, it's apes that are around. You got the Lincoln Memorial, who's actually an ape. You got like the police that are apes, and like it's another weird ass part to an already weird ass movie. And it's no wonder that critics hated this thing. It's because it's just so weird. Mark Wahlberg is a fascinating character at the best of the times, but to think that he is a part of this bizarre and utterly whacked out adventure is just another hilarious thing. And I'm telling you, that beginning scene when Mark Wahlberg blasts off in a space pod to save a chimpanzee in a space pod in a teleport vortex in the middle of space is just like the fact that that scene exists in our universe is just too great to even imagine. And bizarrely enough, like I mentioned, the movie was a commercial success. Now, this is not a bad movie to see in the theaters. I mean, it's a spectacle to say the absolute freaking least, and a sci-fi classic, in my opinion. But yeah, critics hated it, and I think it's like it's a so bad it's good type territory. Although it has aspects of it that are like truly actually pretty good as a movie. So I mean, I don't know. It's funny, definitely. I forgot it exists, and probably especially because they've came out with all these modern Planet of the Apes CGI fests. With like the chimp guy who's like kind of like a smart chimp, but just totally CGI. Most people will forget this movie even exists, and I bet you Mark Wahlberg probably wishes that everybody forget it exists. But it's such a classically hilarious sci-fi romp that you just gotta see it. Planet of the Apes 2001 is a thoroughly weird and uncanny film. And to see the way that the apes look and the way they act, and it just leaves you really feeling gross. It's like, it feels really weird, man. And like, if you saw this on any type of psychoactive active substance, it's gonna make you think of all kinds of weird ass thoughts. So I mean, definitely check out Planet of the Apes 2001. It's a hilarious film. It's just so weird, and the fact that Mark Wahlberg is a part of this spectacle is just another great period in film history. It's got to be like 8 out of 10 material, because it's just like it is a sci-fi movie, and a lot of the sets and a lot of the stuff looks great, and it makes you fucking laugh. And man, you need that in today's world. It's just like this movie will definitely make you laugh for all the wrong reasons. So yeah, check out Planet of the Apes 2001. Yeah, it's a very fantastical Marky Marky experience.